Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the next video in the series. This video I'm going to go over actions and what they can do for your game. So an action is just something you can apply to an actor. It's a LibGDX object, comes with LibGDX. So if I go back to my game here, you'll see that our bird extends actor. So you can add actions to any actor. And actions are just objects that basically let you move actors around smoothly. Basically, they interpolate values over time, so you can cause like a bouncing effect. I'm gonna try to. I'll run this video and I'll point out some things that can be done with actions. So this is like, I guess this is the real Flappy Bird. So here in this title screen, if you look at this Flappy Bird just going up and down, that can be done with an action. So you would make this actor, you make this an actor, and then you would assign it an action, and that action would basically describe going up and down like this forever. And then your actor would just draw itself accordingly. So that's how you do this little thing here. Another example of what I'm going to try to do in this video is when the bird flaps, you'll see that it kind of rotates slowly. It doesn't immediately, well, I guess it pretty much does go really fast, but you'll see that it kind of slowly starts rotating downwards instead of just rotating downwards immediately when its velocity starts heading south. So whereas ours, if I run the game here, in our game the rotation of the bird is just depends on the velocity. So you can see it's whichever way it's going, it's pointing. So let's try to give it an action and make it more like the guy did in Flappy Bird. So where do I begin? First, let's find where we're doing the rotation in our bird class here. So here we go. Set rotation just sets it to whatever. We have some weird logic here to set it to whatever direction it's going. So let's get rid of this, and instead of that we're going to let's see how this looks. But basically, whenever this thing jumps, is there a jump method in here somewhere? So now it just looks forward. Okay, where does this thing jump? I can't even remember. Here we go, just touched. So bird jump. Oh, there is a jump method. Okay, so instead of just increasing the y velocity when we jump, we're going to give it an action. How do we do that? So basically, instead of going like new action to instantiate this, there's a factory method or factory object in LibGDX that we can use that it's basically implements its own pool. So I guess I don't want to get in the details of this, but you can create a bunch of actors and they're basically reused, so they're not constantly being created every time you want a new action. So just to show you guys how to do it, actions dot, basically we want a rotate to action. So we're going to rotate it to whatever rotation we want, and there's our constructor options. Let's rotate it to 45 degrees over half a second, and let's just leave it at that for now. So this just creates an action object. We need to apply this action object to our actor, or this bird class that I'm in right now. So you can say this dot add action, and then pass it the action. So we actually don't need to do this, so we can just say add action, actions rotate to, just like that. Okay? But we don't want it to just rotate 45 degrees and stay there forever. We want it to rotate to 45 degrees and then sort of rotate back down to facing the ground over time. So let's make that action. It's going to be the same thing, rotate to, and instead of like 45 degrees, it's going to be negative 90 over, let's just say 3 seconds. But we don't want these to be running at the same time. We want to run this action first, then we want to run this action. So it's a sequence of actions, and there's something for that. There is what's called a sequence action. So let's make our sequence action. We do that the same way. We're going to instantiate it using this actions dot class, actions sequence, and you can just pass a bunch of actions. Okay. So actually, let's move this to the bottom. So we'll call this action 1 or A1. Whoops, that didn't quite work. Rotate to action A1. We'll have another one, rotate to action A2. Sorry, that's why that didn't work. There's our two actions, and we're going to make a sequence out of them, A1, A2. So we rotate to 45 degrees in half a second, then we rotate to negative 90 over 3 seconds. Also, one more thing. Let's, before we add these actions, let's clear actions from this bird class so that we can't just give it multiple actions every time you basically every time you click or every time you touch. It's going to clear all the actions and give it these actions so that we don't have, you know, if somebody clicks really fast, a lot of times you don't have like a whole bunch of these actions going on at the same time. So let's see what this looks like. Didn't do anything. What happened? Oh, we didn't add the sequence action to our bird class. So add action, sequence action. Let's try this again. Okay. So it's really too slow, but you can see it slowly moves back down. Okay, but basically that's what we want. It's just a matter of adjusting the time here to be a lot faster. So I'll shorten this up, and we'll see how this looks. One bad thing about this is, you know, you can't see how it's going to look until you actually run it in the game. So it just leads to a lot of change something, run the game, you know, change a little bit more, run the game again. I spent a lot of time doing that, unfortunately. I wish somebody would have or make some kind of action previewer or something where you could just, you know, sort of automate a lot of this stuff. That would be a really nice tool for LibGDX. Maybe that already exists, I don't know. But you can see it kind of worked more or less how we wanted it to. I think one thing that would make it more, let's shorten this up a little bit. I think there's a little delay, so it goes to this 45 degrees and then it doesn't immediately start coming down. It kind of stays there for a little while. It stays at that angle and then it let's just view this. It stays at that angle and then it starts coming down after like a fraction of a second. So let's put that in here. So there's a delay action. Get that the same way, delay, and then we'll say point, I don't know, I'm just guessing here, 0.3 seconds, and we gotta add that to our sequence, and let's check that out. Okay, so I think the times still need to be lower because it's really fast in the game, in the real game. 0.1, I think that's okay. So, not quite. The delay, I think the delay needs to be a little bit more. Let's consult the game here. We want to do our best to make it as close to the original as possible, right? I think this is more like 30, right? 35 degrees. Let's change this to 1.1. So we actually haven't written much code, but we're spending a lot of time. Whoops. Spending a lot of time trying to get the look of the game right. Yeah, I think the delay needs to be even more, because you don't really see the you don't see the bird going down unless it's actually like dead. You know, I think the delay is more, but this is actually a little less. And while I'm at it, we actually need Well, let's just leave it. See how this looks. The delay is too much. Like I said, a lot of trial and error. I wish there was an easier way to do this. Whoops, I just messed that up. But this is the best way that I know. Did I just mess that up again? I keep clicking. Another thing we have to do is when we hit the ground, we need to make it stop rotating, because I saw it hit the ground and it continued to follow through on these actions. We don't want to do that. So we'll do that in die. When we die, we'll there's a clear actions method that comes with actor clear actions, just like we did up here, cleared actions before giving it new actions. Whoops. So actually, we don't want to do it when it just dies. We want to clear actions when it hits the ground. So how do we do that? We'll just do it here. Is below ground. Whoops. God. Key bindings are all different than what I'm used to. Okay. Is that it? I think that's all. Okay. Let's compare one more time. Well, I think that's close enough. And I think the you get the point. You can mess with this all you want. Still not quite perfect, but it's basically how you do it. He still flaps when he's dead. Let's fix that. Let's add the animation or deal with the animation when he's alive. Otherwise, we're not changing the region when he's dead. That should take care of that. And I think let's call the video here. Alright guys, so I hope you learned about these actions. We're going to use them a lot more in the future. So see you guys then. Bye.